Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here and joining us this evening. I am Rahul Soni, and on behalf of TCS, I'm thrilled to welcome you all to today's Jobinar on Who Does an AI Team Hire? For those of you joining us for the first time, let me take a moment to briefly explain what a Jobinar is. TCS and Jobinars is a program we have started a year ago to reach out to you all and to be able to talk to you about what's happening in industry and in the job world. Why have we named it as Jobinar? It's of course webinars with an intent to understand the job opportunities in various key sectors and key streams. Every second and fourth Thursday of the month, we hold such Jobinars, and we hope we will be able to add value to you in your search for a bright and rewarding career. In a world where AI is transforming every industry, companies are on the hunt for fresh talent ready to be part of this exciting revolution. Today, we will explore the qualities, skills, and mindset that make a candidate stand out, whether you are a tech enthusiast, a creative problem solver, or simply curious about the future. But this isn't just about landing a job. So today we are breaking down the essentials in a way that speaks directly to your dreams and challenges. Let's dive in and explore how you can turn your aspirations into reality. So we are honored to have an eminent speaker with us, Mr. Bhagesh Saraugi, who is an AI enthusiast and has worked with several organizations to deliver AI-based solutions over the last 10 years. He holds an MCA degree with distinction and completed his graduation with specialization in computer science. To further enhance his skills, recently he has opted for the Executive MTech program in Industrial AI from IIT Madras. His expertise lies in devising innovative algorithms, designing comprehensive end-to-end AI pipelines, and advancing the field through impactful research work. Currently, he is leading a dynamic team focused on solving complex challenges in the AI domain. Welcome, Mr. Bhagesh.
Thank you so much, Rahul and the whole team. And also thank you so much to all the attendees who have joined for this session. And it is my pleasure to be here. And definitely I'll share whatever experience I have I came across throughout the journey of my career. I think and I hope that will help you going forward. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhagesh, for joining in today. With the first question, uh, what does an AI team typically do within a company?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Rahul. I think this is a very suitable question to begin our discussions. Generally, when we talk about an AI team, so basically AI comprises of several different hierarchies, right? It starts from machine learning algorithms, then you move to deep learning algorithms, then you have classical image processing algorithms as well. So everything falls under the bracket of AI, wherein you leverage all these technologies to come up with a solution. So mostly in a company, an AI developer are involved in developing several AI models. For example, let's say when you upload a photo in Facebook, so that your face of yours gets automatically tagged, right? So then some algorithm is working behind which is able to detect your face and then able to tag it. So this is one kind of an AI model itself that actually works at the back end. Then we have AI. From AI point of view, we perform data analysis and management. So for several different types of companies, like let's say at a certain location, different types of IoT sensors are installed. Let's say a simple sensor is a weather sensor, and a lot of weather information is coming in. Now you try to understand at which point of time the weather is pleasant enough for a candidate to remain in an environment or not. So for that you get enormous amount of data, right? It is depending upon the frequency of the data that you are capturing in. So there it comes from handling of a lot of information at the same time. So that is what is data analysis and management. Then we also work in product and solution development. So that is probably, I would say that an extended version wherein you work in AI models and then you actually deploy them in real time at different production environments wherein the solution is deployed and it gives you a lot of insights out of that. For example, one prominent example I can talk about is chatbot, right? Nowadays with everything you see a chatbot. So you can directly communicate with that bot and sometimes it feels like somebody as a person is responding from the other side, but there is an AI model behind that. Then research and innovation is an important aspect. Sometimes you have seen like a lot of people are also interested to contribute further in AI domain. Then let's say there is an existing algorithm, and then they come up with a way or to fine tune or tweak that algorithm that efficiently helps us to resolve a particular problem. So that is research and innovation. Then we can talk about optimization and automation. So wherever there is a routine work-based job is going on, so you can come up with a proper architecture or AI pipeline wherein you can automate that, right? Because if something is routine, then definitely you can think about establishing a fact wherein I can understand by following this rule, this can be accomplished. So this is what is about optimization and automation. Then we have monitoring and maintenance. That is mostly about in large manufacturing companies wherein they have installed a lot of very big machineries where they have different types of data itself, and that data itself will tell you whether the machineries are working properly or not. So that is maintenance job. And finally, without this AI is incomplete, that is ethics and compliance management. So basically, when you are working with an AI and ML model, so you should understand how ethical it is to deploy it at a certain location, depending upon the data with which you are working on, right? Let's say it should not get biased with a race of a human being or ethnicism, right? Or religiousness. It should not get biased to that. So that is one aspect of it. So primarily in a company, all these items come into picture while working in an AI team. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bhagesh. I think you highlighted the main points like face detection, product development, chatbot, optimization and automation, then monitoring as well. So it's a very vast field and students have great opportunity in this area. So let's move on to the next question. What are the must-have technical skills you look for in freshers for an AI role? And why do you think these skills are so important?
See, you should understand that all these AI and ML, every model, whatever you are talking about, it came into picture around 1980s or so, and there the most important factor was mathematics behind that. Why is that? Because everything is built upon mathematics, and then on top of it, nowadays we have ready-made APIs that we call, and then we work with it, right? So there are two aspects of it. So to begin with, I would say primarily to converse with an AI application, you should have a good understanding of one programming language at least. So nowadays people are using Python, so you should have good hold in that. And if you have an added C++ knowledge also, so that will also help you as an added advantage. Additionally, you should have some knowledge about libraries, because now this open source world, lot of different companies and communities are coming up with different AI ML based libraries also, right? But just knowing AI and ML will not help you. You should also be able to understand how those libraries are working. To give you some names, the libraries are OpenCV, Pandas, Scikit-learn, SciPy. These are very primary libraries that you should be well accustomed with. As a fresher, you should know. If you work in any AI/ML project, internship, or even theoretically, if you are learning, you should understand. We should know about these libraries. Then going forward, to begin with, you should have machine learning basic understandings, right? Nowadays, we are talking about all deep learning, neural networks, etc., right? But primarily, that is the probably the topmost layer of what we are currently learning. But behind that, there is a good set of or array of learning algorithms available that you should know. So that comes from SVM, that is support vector machine. Then we have random forest. Then we have decision trees. So that can help you to solve very small problems even without going for a very heavy weighted modules or something like that, right? So that is very powerful. Then you should have some deep learning based fundamentals. Fundamentals, when I speak about, I am not expecting someone to know about different models, no, but at least they should know how a CNN works. Because in any kind of AIMN model, convolutional neural network plays its part, right? So then if there is a convolutional neural, it is like a basic building block. If I'm talking about an exponential series, you should know, right? 2 plus 2 equals to 4. If you don't know that, then there is no point discussing about an exponential series. So that is what it is. So that 2 plus 2 is for neural network, that is convolutional neural network, that is CNN. So you should have some basic understanding about that. And additionally, it is nice that it is good to know if you have also RNN expertise also, like recurrent neural network. So that comes from the point of view of text processing or audio processing. That will help. And finally, without visualization, AI/ML field is incomplete. So just to add to that fact that there are certain libraries that you should be accustomed with, like for example, Matplotlib or Seaborn. So actually that will help you to visualize the data in real time, and you will be able to understand what are the inherent capabilities that data have, what are the features that I should look for. From data, from visualization, you can actually able to understand that. So primarily, I think if you focus around these categories, you should be in a very good position to be prepared for an AI/ML job role to begin with. I think
Yeah,
that
right.
should answer this question. Thanks, Ram.
So I think, Mr. Bhagesh, our audience is also active. Sai Kumar is saying supervised learning and unsupervised learning algorithms as well. You have already covered in that. And programming languages like Python, you told that a solid understanding of machine learning algorithms is also important,
Correct, correct.
rightly said. So if I talk about the mathematics or linear algebra, so my question is how important is a strong foundation in mathematics, particularly in linear algebra, probability and statistics?
See, nowadays, what I see, what I observe from outside is that people are very eager to learn about AI/ML models, everything, but they are not very interested to understand what is the mathematical intuition behind this. So then they feel some sense of afraidness is there in present inside their mind. So it feels they feel reluctant to go deeper into those networks. But I should tell you with a very 100% confidence is that this linear algebra or probability statistics, both of them play a very vital role here. To begin with, if I talk about linear algebra, so there probably you have like probably all of them who are actually pursuing their education right now. They have learned about eigenvalues, eigenvectors, right? So I also studied during my class 12 journey and also during my graduation phases also. So there I saw it from the mathematics perspective only. But now what I see is that I can give you an example. There is an image, let's say, and I ask you to compress it, right? So what will you do? You will use a zip kind of a mechanism. You zip that image and you expect that some size should get reduced, right? So now the question is that you are reducing the size of the image and then you are extracting it, then you will get the same image back again, right? So it can be lossy, it cannot, may be lossless also. So you are reducing the data that you are storing. So their eigenvalues, eigenvectors plays a very important role. So if you do not know how eigenvalues and eigenvectors are computed, so you will not be able to appreciate the fact that how it actually this compression works. You will not be able to do that. Going forward, probability statistics, that is very much the core component of any AI/ML models that plays its part. To give you some ideologies that, let's say I'm talking about large scale of data. So at the beginning, if I talk about statistics, what will come to your mind? Probably mean, median, variance, right? Because those are some metrics which will tell you the inherent properties that is inside the data itself. So that comes from the knowledge of statistics. So you should have that information. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to go forward and handle complex problems. You should try to understand in industry. You will not get a problem statement that is already done and dusted or solved, right? You will get a problem statement that is not yet solved for a client, right? So you need to come up with a solution that may not be available in the community. So then you should have some understanding. So this overall mathematical intuition will help you to guide through that process of developing that solution, and that will also that customer will also appreciate the fact that you also have that background knowledge with which you are actually building the solution itself. So I think that primarily covers everything altogether.
Yeah, right. If the basics are clear, then in a long way, it will definitely help.
Yes.
So thank you, Mr. Bhagesh. Let's go to the next question. It's about the practical experiences or the projects basically. So do you think projects or practical experiences make a candidate stand out in AI recruitment? And how much do personal projects, open source contributions and GitHub profiles matter?
They matter. They certainly matters. But at the same time, you also have to understand, like a lot of people, what they do, they copy some part of the code from some other Git repo and then upload inside their repo, and then they present that. So that doesn't make much sense, right? So you can develop something, you can put it on the Git profile, or you solve problems in Kaggle platform. So I think Kaggle is a very important platform for all the AI ML enthusiastic people. So if you are not enrolled to that platform, immediately do that, because through that you will see there are a lot of challenging problem statements are coming in, and you do not have that pressure to deliver something, right? You just go there and play around with your technical skills in AI and ML models. So that will help you to build up your knowledge set also, right? And sometimes what happens is that you're let's say you're trying to communicate to some company in a way, but probably there is no communication medium directly. So what you can do, you can share your GitHub profile, right, to that company or to the respective people. So what they can do, they can have a look at your profile, and from there they can understand what level of information you have gathered here and what kind of information or knowledge you have. So that will help the team to understand whether you are suitable for that role or not, and if that is found suitable, so then they will come to you and they'll ask you, okay, now let us have a communication and let us try to see whether you are suitable to our problem statement or not. So definitely this will help, and I really appreciate the fact that you have brought up this point, and I really want all these audiences and people to go and explore this territory. This is very much is the need of the hour itself. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Bhagesh. So I can see some questions in the chat box as well. People are asking. So definitely we will take these questions, but I want to take one question. Samarth Sable is asking, a second, in industry for position of AI ML, basically the jobs related to AI ML and data science, everyone is asking for experience of 3 to 4 years. So how they can land these kind of jobs?
See, try to understand. When you talk about experience, experience is in terms of the knowledge you have gathered, right? So there is a rule, there are a lot of people who are very eminent in their domain, right? Let's say, for example, there was Alan Turing, right? Then we have Einstein. Then we have like Jeffrey Hinton, who is the godfather of AI/ML domain itself. So one thing is very common is that they have invested at least 10,000 hours in that subject, and then by default they came up with that amount of information that they could able to create something that is very innovative in nature. So when people are talking about 2 3 years of experience, it is not necessarily that you have some experience from companies. If you can establish that fact that, okay, for the past 2 3 years I have been working on some isolated projects, or on my own I have developed something, and I have gathered some knowledge, and I have equivalent knowledge. Let's say a person is working in a company for 2 3 years, so I may not have that exact knowledge, probably to that candidate around that area, but I have comparable knowledge to that area, right? So then you can confidently say, okay, I have 2 3 years of experience in terms of my own development work, right? So then that will interest those people, that okay, now probably he doesn't or she doesn't have company experience, but they have worked on problem statements. So that is what we are looking for. You should have exposure to several types of problem statements. You should be able to understand when I'm talking about AI/ML model. I should not tell you what is overfitting, what is underfitting, right? So that is something already given. It should come with you. That you should tell me, okay, if I do this, then overfitting can create a problem, right? And if I see a candidate now talking about overfitting, underfitting, and probably they are not able to understand, so that itself indicates that that candidate has not invested enough time in this domain itself. So that makes things very difficult anyway. So take it in a very energetic manner and very encouraging manner, that you invest your time, and definitely it will pay you off. But you take my words on that, but it will pay you off. That's how I also started my career. So initially, I was also struggling, but I keep on working on my own on certain projects or developing certain challenging statements, etc. So eventually it paid off. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Bhagesh, for answering this. So how should students prepare a resume, and how one should present a resume in front of a recruiter?
Okay. This is the resume is probably the first interface of communication between you and the candidate. So when you prepare a resume, make sure whatever you have done, you only mention those things. What happens is that sometimes, because the AI is a very huge umbrella, right? It covers lot of algorithms, lot of information. So it is not necessarily required that you know everything. Do not have to mention everything. You mention, let's say you know a support vector machine. you know random forest, or let's say you know object detector model itself. You mention only that part only in that resume. You do not exaggerate things, because see, if you are not confident about what you know or what you are putting in that resume, then definitely that interviewer will catch you, because that interviewer have good amount of experience, right? So by asking just few questions, they will be able to understand what you have done, what you have not done. And then, and even going beyond, if I say, by looking at the resume, sometimes I can understand that whatever the people has written over all this information, that is probably most of them are not relevant. So you should understand what is relevant for a job role, for what you are applying for. And you mention all those algorithm level information. Let's say you have used n number of algorithms, you mention them only. You tell the recruiter or the interviewer that, okay, I do not know support vector machine, but you can ask me questions from decision tree. So as an interviewer, I do not have problem with that. What I want to see is that if you say something that you know, then actually whether you can answer me questions from that region or not. And this question does not say that I'm grilling you. I will not grill you, but I'll try to understand the knowledge that you have around that algorithm, right? So that itself is sufficient. And also, just to add to a last point to this question, is that sometimes I've seen, let's say I have two resumes in front of me, and one resume I see only, let's say, in terms of text lines, if I say, let's say only 10 text lines are present. And in one resume, there are 100 text lines given. And it is bombarded with lot of AI image jargons, etc. So with an immediate intention, immediately what it will seek, that the over information that is given, right? But if you look closely, you will understand that at the one hand, one person is saying, I know only this much, and then I know it very well. And on the other hand, one person is saying, I know everything. It's like, I am master of none, but jack of all trades, right? So there is a saying. So that is not really great to have as a skill set. So I will insist you focus on certain algorithms to begin with, and put only those algorithms in those resumes. Do not put informations under your peers' pressure, because people will put a lot of things to impress recruiters. But believe me, recruiters will not get impressed. The more information you will put in, the more questions they'll ask. So be careful on that. I think that will answer this question.
Yeah, definitely, Mr. Bhavesh. Thank you for outlining this. Could you please talk about or walk us through the different roles you hire for AI and share what educational backgrounds or experiences you typically look for?
Yeah, sure. So before I jump into the different types of job roles, I think it is my responsibility to first educate the audience to about different types of domains that is existing, where they can look for jobs, right? And then with respect to each and every industry, the different types of roles will come into picture. To begin with, let's say there is a healthcare sector. So there, in AI/ML plays role in medical imaging, drug discovery, etc. Right? For example, there is an image of, like, during COVID, what happened is that a lot of X-ray images came in, right? And then people started using analytics to understand, like, from an COVID infected person, and then there is a non-COVID infected person. So then, is there any difference between those images? So then AI/ML is playing its role. So this is one healthcare sector. Then you have transportation sector, where autonomous vehicles are playing its role nowadays, right? Probably a lot of people are already aware of this autonomous vehicles that Tesla is coming up with, right? So even though those are not very suitable to Indian territory, but it is there. You have to understand that that domain is expanding. So that is one aspect, and then you have traffic management. For example, a car is passing through a let's say a traffic area, and the red signal is on, and the car has passed through. So if a CCTV is installed, it can capture the image, and it can actually decode that license plate number, and it can actually send you a text message saying that you have broken a rule, so that they'll be penalized for that. So this is AI/ML, right? So this is one area. Then you have entertainment area. So that is what we call about, like, OTT platforms and everything. They are from generating different types of frames or scenes, etc. We use generative AI. And also, if you see, like, let's say for example, Netflix or any kind of different other platforms, if you open, you see it asks you at the beginning to identify few of the key characteristics, the kind of content you like, right? And after that, you see after some time it starts giving you recommendations. So how exactly it is happening? So again, at the back end, there is an AI/ML model. So it actually understands like what the behavior of yours that you are trying to willing to see, and then accordingly it will recommend that information to you. Then we have finance. There is fraud detection, credit scoring. Let's say, for example, there is a check, bank check. So if you want to verify signature of a candidate, right? So how will you do that? So then again, AI/ML model will come into picture. Then retail. So their inventory management, for example, Flipkart, Amazon, they have big warehouses, right? So in that warehouse, everything is not possible humanly. So they have inhuman amount of information or the inventories, right? So they need inventory management systems which can help them understand. Then we have manufacturing domain where predictive maintenance and supply chain optimization is done. Supply chain optimization, probably the associates are or the attendees are, I think, aware of the traveling salesman problem. It is very similar to that. It is coming from that problem statement itself. You have to travel to a particular location, but you can travel only once and you cannot come back to the location again. So that is a supply chain optimization problem statement. Then we have education sector where we talk about AI tutors and then personalized learning paths, right? And then finally there is gaming. So in gaming, AI has a very deep impact itself. When I talk about that, probably if you are aware, then generally what developers, AI, game developers does is that they create scenes, okay, gaming scenes. For example, I want to create a waterfall at the back end of the character, so they manually do it through different editing platforms. But nowadays, because of the Gen AI and other upskilling platforms, they are able to do it through just prompts. Like probably someone was talking about LLMs, right? So we have vision LLMs also. So in that way, you just provide the correct prompts, it will generate frames for you. So that helps. So I think that summarizes the overall area that you can cover or you can aim for as an AI enthusiastic going forward. And now I think I can talk about different roles that generally we look for. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So to begin with, you can look for a data scientist job role or data engineer if you say. So mostly the job role is involving around collection of data and analyzing of data itself, right? Because the data scientist or data engineer, that means they are the person responsible is dealing with data. And this data is not a simple CSV file. It has, let's say it has 100 rows of information. No, it has millions of rows, and that too probably it has hundreds of columns. So I am talking about that amount of data. So that amount of data you cannot handle with a simple tool. So you need AI/ML for that. So that's what this predictive modeling, development, etc. That amount of knowledge will come into play. So for that, generally Python is a preferable language, and also you should have exposure to scikit-learn and matplotlib as well. Going forward, you can look into machine learning engineer jobs. So machine learning engineers are primarily going deep into the model development job role, right? So as a data scientist is looking more from the data perspective, how the data sparsity is looking into the scene. But machine learning engineers is actually identifies which model is suitable for which problem statement. And then you should also have that information, what are the current models or current trends that is happening around the community, because that will help you understand what is to use currently, right? Like for example, nowadays a lot of chatbots are coming, right? And those are chatbots are coming very hurriedly and very quickly. Gemini has different models. Then Grok has different versions of it. Even ChatGPT has different versions of it, right? But if you are not keeping the pace with this all these models and architectures, then you will not be able to leverage that model itself. So that's what come into picture. So then additionally, you should have information about knowledge about TensorFlow, some cloud platform architectures also. So that should help you to deploy the solution. Going forward, there is a job role called NLP engineer. So that is natural language processing. So when we talk about speech or text information, something is written on a piece of paper, and you want to convert it into digital information. So you use OCR, right? So that falls into this category. So for this, there is a specific library set that is very required. That is NLTK. This is popularly very popular in this domain, and people use it. So to work in this domain, you should have this information, at least basic knowledge of all these things. And then finally, I'll talk about computer vision engineers. So computer vision, probably by this name itself, we should understand I'm talking about images here, right? When I'm talking about images, so then you will talk about objects. So, and in an image, let's say there's a horse, there's a car, there's a cycle, and there's a aeroplane as well. But you do not want to manually annotate them, right? You want a model to tell you whether there is n number of people inside that classroom or not. You want to do that, right? You don't want to do that manually. You want to do something automatically. So then AI/ML model will come into picture. So from that perspective, object detection, image classification, kind of a knowledge should come into picture, and also feature extractor. So currently we use deep learning models. So inherently that has that flavor of extracting features automatically, right? But we also came across the different problems wherein these kind of feature extractors are not useful. Then sometimes you have to fall back to the classical way of handling feature extractors. So what you do, you create feature extractors, and then you get out that feature from that image, and then you actually create the classifier to classify whether this is a cat or dog, etc. So there, YOLO is a very well prominent model. Then I think it is open source also, so anybody can go and download and experiment with that. And finally, tools, Python is a big go ahead. And then OpenCV, PyTorch is a very primarily concerned because PyTorch deals with AI/ML models itself. To build it, to train it, you need PyTorch information. And then scikit image, that is also image processing library. Then you have SciPy. So that will help you tackle data in different types of variable data itself. So in all, if I say, you should know at least a single language that can help you understand everything, right? So Python, what I see is that Python is a very prominent language in this field. And what kind of job role you are looking for, with respect to that, you prepare yourself. That is the overall crux of this idea. I think that should address all of the audience's concerns. And if you cover all these items, then definitely will end up at some location which is very suitable for you and good for you and beneficial for you. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mr. Bhagesh, for this insightful answer. It really helpful to get a clear understanding of the diverse roles and responsibilities within an AI team. How can a non-technical candidate explore opportunities or transition into the AI field?
Okay, so begin with probably the opportunity will come later. First, how to transition to this AI domain. And I'm assuming if somebody is from non-AI/ML domain, then probably he does not have the basic understanding of any type of algorithm level of concepts, etc. Right? So to begin with, what I can say is that open source, there are a lot of training materials are available. I can give you some guidance on that. For example, there is one course that is AI for everyone. That is by Andrew Ng, and that is available at Coursera platform. So if you are coming from a background which is completely non-technical and you have that intuition or enthusiasm inside you that you want to learn more about this, so you definitely look for this. That is, I'll again say, that is AI for everyone. So it will give you the basic idea in AI ML domain, what we do, how we do, and what you should know about this. And just going further ahead, once you have that experience of understanding when I'm delving into this AI domain, what additionally should I know, then probably you can look for a slightly advanced version of code, that is machine learning, that again by Andrew Ng. I'm a big admirer of this person because he's a very good educator. And I also started my career by following his materials up to a certain extent. So that helped me a lot. So he will help you understand not from a mathematical point of view, but also from the point of view wherein you do not have to understand everything in AI/ML, right? Sometimes it is okay to ignore something, but you look at the bigger picture. So I think these two courses you can definitely look in, and these are available at Coursera. Probably you will look into that and you'll say, okay, that is they are charging money for that. No, if you are not looking for a certification, like certification course or certificate, so then the charge is not required. So you are free to onboard and then enroll and then complete the course. Only thing is that if you do not pay, you will not get a certificate. What I'm assuming here is that because you are looking for knowledge enhancement, so you go and learn and forget about the certification. Okay, you tell the recruiter, okay, I have gone through this course, then I will have some understanding as a recruiter. Okay, so you definitely have some understanding basic, right? So then I can start from somewhere which is not very basic, right? So I can fasten up the skill bit and I can go on a smooth journey of having discussion with you. So I think that should help, these 2 points.
Correct, Mr. Bhagesh. And in continuation with that, I just want to inform our audience that TCS iON has recently launched cybersecurity courses as well in collaboration with IIT Roper. So you can check the website. Link will be posted in the chat box. So thank you, Mr. Bhagesh, for this answer. I think non-tech people will be happy with it. So let's move on to the next question. Can you share an example of a candidate who impressed you and what exactly set them apart during the hiring process?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that only. So okay, what I can say is that in my team, mostly people are coming from fresher background, and then they delve into AIML projects, and then they grow and learn, etc. So I came across one guy when I was interviewing him. He was from non-technical background, and he said directly to me that I am very enthusiastic about this domain and I want to learn more, I want to grow more, and I want to grow together in a way. And then I felt really struck by that information. Okay, he's very enthusiastic even though he's not from this very background, and he was very open to having very simple discussions. So there we had a small discussion about different types of algorithms at a very basic level, not very deep. And then different types of learning. We were talking about, somebody was saying supervised learning and supervised learning. And additionally, there is another branch of learning algorithm that is called self-supervised learning algorithm. So we had some discussion, and then what I understood is that even though that person does not have that depth in his knowledge, but I saw that spark that he wants to learn more, and he's investing his time actually, because the amount of information that he gathered and he was sharing with me, it was a clear indication that he is willing to grow more and learn more. So then eventually we hired him in a way, right? And now he has learned a lot with inside our team, and he is growing like anything. So you cannot differentiate between a genuine AIML developer and a non-technical background AIML developer. There is no distinction between them. Everything is same for us. It's just about you, whether you want to learn or not, whether you want to grow or not. If you are willing to learn and grow, you are very much welcome, probably at everywhere in this world. Thanks.
Of advice would you give it to our audience?
Uh, Probably we have covered all, and but what I would say is that sometimes you feel overwhelmed when you are talking to a person who knows more than you, right? So you understand this. It is okay to not know everything in AI, right? So it is absolutely fine. You come over with this statement, okay? So you do not need to know everything, but you make sure whatever you know, you are very technically confident about it, right? Even if you know a single algorithm, that itself is sufficient. But you should know everything about that algorithm. So what I would suggest is that to this audience is that please focus on the mathematical intuition slightly, do not go much depth, but try to understand why this algorithm is required, right? Just don't go with a blank interface and or blank set of mind and apply some algorithm because somebody has said that this will work. Don't do that. It is not helping you at all. You first ask yourself a question like whether why I should use this algorithm and how this algorithm will help me. If you do that, then gradually your intuition towards AI and ML field will improve. And that intuition is something that I cannot give you a capsule and I'll tell you, okay, you swallow this capsule and you'll get something. No, that is not going to happen. If you don't build on this fact over a period of time, eventually you'll be faded away. Because going forward, if you look into in this whole AI ML world, everybody is talking about like because of all these AI ML models, etc. A lot of job will go away, right? People are talking about that. But you take up this as an opportunity that this AI ML models cannot go deeper, right? For that you need humans who can understand how to develop these models, what this model can do, what this model cannot do. So you focus on that aspect and learn. Just learn. Do not worry much. Everything will fall into place. Thanks. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhagesh. So, as we have promised when we started the session, we will take the relevant questions at the end. So I can see questions in the chat box. Let's start with the first question. I can see a very interesting question from Harshita. If you can suggest few textbooks or resources to master mathematics deeply.
See, in mathematics, if you have your 12th standard book with you or your college mathematics books, that is more than sufficient. What you have to understand, you have to learn how a matrix works, right? For example, I'm talking about a covariance matrix, right? You should know it. Let's say inverse of a matrix, you should know it. So that amount of information is already there in your armory. It is just that you are not aware of it. That it can unlock a lot of potential inside you. So please pay attention to your textbooks. Those mathematics are there for some good reason. Not like that they want you to suffer through this journey of mathematics learning, right? They want you to learn, and believe me, all this information that is inside your textbook that will help you. So please pay special attention to linear algebra and probability and statistics. These three items are very, very crucial and important for you. Okay, so you cannot leave any with anything out of it, right? So focus on these three items, and at your college level mathematics, inside your mathematics, probability, statistics, linear algebra is more than sufficient. You do not look to go for advanced level of mathematics. That is not required. So please do not fall into that trap. Come back to your basics and learn.
Correct, correct. Thank you, Mr. Bhagesh. So next question from Niket. What course or particular certificate we have to pursue if you want to guide on that?
I just pinged in the chat that these two courses that you can go through, Nikhil. So it should help you. It's AI for everyone. If you are from a non-technical background or you do not have any exposure at all, you begin with that. And for somebody who has some amount of experience in AI/ML, so you please go through this machine learning course by Andrew NG. And they also provide financial aids also, right? So you have to describe them why it is required, why it is important for you. You have to drop in statement. So if you can share that statement of purpose with them, then sometimes they waive off that charge for the certification. So that also can come at a free of cost. So it is up to you, right? What you want.
Mhm. Lakshmi is asking how relevant are MI skills like designing, developing of MI models or using Python or libraries where there are Gen AI already available and AI is about to take over.
See, Gen AI, when you talk about Gen AI, so what is Gen AI, right? Gen AI is an artificial intelligence algorithm, right? What is working behind Gen AI? There are a lot of models available, right? There is a learning mechanism involved. So today, when I started my career, I started with very classical way of learning everything. Then I learned about machine learning. That is a classical machine learning. There was no AI, ML, AI or deep learning at all, right? Then gradually I traversed towards deep learning models. Then I moved to Gen AI. But you take this as a fact that I cannot leave the others around behind, right? Without ML, deep learning is incomplete. Without ML and deep learning, Gen AI is incomplete. So it is not like that Gen AI is coming into picture all of a sudden, then AI ML in AI ML is irrelevant. No, it is not like that. Like for example, I give you a simple example. Let's say there is a customer and it has a, let's say, 4 GB of RAM system, Windows system, and he is asking you to deploy a solution which can recognize his face, right? Or it can generate some images. So what will you do? You look for an Gen AI solution, right? So can you deploy Gen AI solution on a 4 GB RAM system? You cannot. What you have to fall back? You have to fall back to your machine learning algorithms. That is classical machine learning algorithms. And the very essence of classical machine learning algorithms is that their memory footprint is very, very minimalistic. And also they eat up very less CPU cycles. So you should understand right now, probably you are thinking only about the solutions point of view, whether it can solve this problem or not. But start thinking about whether it is resource efficient or not, whether you can run the same solution on CPU or not. Do you need a GPU? Is that a mandatory requirement? If that is a mandatory requirement, a lot of customer will not buy your solution, right? So from that point of view, if you look into that, then ML, classical ML, then deep learning, Gen AI, everything is required. Do not remove any or erase of anything at all from your dictionary. So please keep everything intact, learn about everything, and then go forward.
Correct, correct. Thank you, Bhagesh. I think hope audience will be making notes of this the words of wisdom spoken by you.
Not
So,
this is just experience what I'm trying to share with them because I was also at that point of at certain point of time in my career, I was also
right,
as a fresher, right? So I faced sudden trouble. So I do not want them to go through, but they should be sincere enough. Sincerity is the key.
right. I can see a question from Tanvi Singh related to basically coding. So she says, I am electronics graduate, got certification from IIT Roorkee in cybersecurity and automation, and have done 2 internships as well. Okay, but do not have much exposure to coding. Can you guide me?
Yeah, see, the coding, basic coding begins with the understanding of a problem statement. Okay, what is coding? Coding is some logical set of statement that you are writing in probably, let's say, plain statement. If I ask
Hmm.
you, let's say there is a point A, a bus stop A. Now I am asking you to go to bus stop B. How will you do that? If I ask you to create the, let's say, 10 items out of it, what do you say? Okay, first criteria is that I have to be available on that bus stop A. Second is that I have to look whether I have to cross that road or not, right? Then third probably will say see whether it is in walking distance or not. Then you have to look for, let's say it is not walking, then look for a cab. So what I'm telling you is that it is the analogy or the logical understanding of your problem statement. So if you have that sense of understanding already inbuilt inside you over a period of time, if you have acquired that, then this programming language is nothing but a simple tool. Like for example, Python, you pick up a Python course, anything you pick up from anywhere. Google offers a Python course that is very open source to everybody. You can pick up that and just start coding. The only way to reach to the what I say the top of the mountain is that you have to start walking, right? You have to start trekking. You cannot sit idle, stand idle, and say how will you reach there? You will not reach anywhere because if you are not starting, you will not reach there, right? So you start coding and don't be afraid. At the beginning, you will do a lot of mistakes, but going forward, those mistakes will help you get some leverage, right? When the new problem statement is coming in your domain. So enroll to different coding platforms where there are like, the Hacker Earth, right? Hacker Rank that is also there. So you get enrolled to there, and then whatever language you prefer. If you do not have any language expertise, you learn a simple language. Python is very easy to start with, and then you start coding. Simple. Do that, and you will achieve.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Bhagesh. Okay, so let's take last 2, 3 questions. So Pranav Pukle is asking, he's currently first year student with a strong interest in AI and machine learning. His goal is to make a career in AI ML, focusing on the practical skills. Since many companies work primarily with supervised data, would it be better for him to focus more on classical machine learning algorithms rather than deep learning?
See, when you talk about supervised data, so classical machine learning algorithms also works with supervised data. So, right, so that is there is no correlation between supervised data with classical machine learning or deep learning. There is no correlation to that. Even deep learning, you have supervised and unsupervised learning mechanisms, right? So, I cannot say that you learn one and then you leave out the other one. Both items go hand in hand, right? So that is how it is. You learn the classic machine learning algorithms and also you learn deep learning algorithms because it will depend upon the problem statement that you are dealing with. Some problem statement may not need any deep learning algorithm. It can be solvable using a simple, even a simple logistic regression algorithm, right? That is doable. So you do not need to apply deep learning algorithm on certain problem statement. So the only thing that you should be worried about whether you are aware of those algorithms which can help you at a particular with to solve a particular problem statement. You do not try to isolate these areas, right? They work in tandem, in hand, right? So ML, DL, Gen AI, everything is required. I cannot put one in front of other. I cannot do that because it is dependent upon a problem statement. So you please put some effort and try to learn in all these 3 dimensions. But to begin with, you should begin from ML and then DL and then Gen AI.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Bhagesh. I can see most of the students are asking about the cybersecurity course. Just I want to reiterate a few things about this course. TCS has already launched cybersecurity course in collaboration with IIT Roper. A special thank you to our speaker, Mr. Bhagesh, for sharing your expertise, insights, and valuable knowledge. Your presentation has been incredibly informative and thought-provoking, and we greatly appreciate the time and effort you put into preparing such an engaging session. To our audience, thank you for joining us today and being part of the important conversations. We look forward to staying connected and continuing to learn together. Please feel free to reach out if you have any further questions or thoughts. Thank you once again. Thank you, Mr. Bhagesh.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Rahul. And it was a pleasure for me to be part of this opportunity. And I really request all these associates, please start learning and growing, and you will do well. Don't worry. Thanks. All the best.